Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co., and this is News and Week in Review. We're going to be diving into a bunch of assorted news pieces, timestamps and everything, links and everything down below, although less links than we normally would have, because a lot of these are things that there aren't actually links for, because they're like, hey, we're announcing it soon, and don't tell your audience until now, and I may or may not have a link by the time already, because of everything going on with Gencon. So we'll see what links we have down below, but at the very least you'll get the news part to the various videos of the week, because we'll have that as well. You'll have links to all of that, timestamps to everything. YouTube's been weird with timestamps lately. Like, a lot of times people will be like, hey, there's no timestamps, and they're there in the description, but YouTube's not picking it up until I, save the video 4 different times. I don't know what's up with that. But if you see any videos without normal timestamps, check the description, because they're right over there. Something's wrong with YouTube. But I mean comment as well, because then I can go in, make a change, save it, make a change, save it. Literally, I'm changing like a word and hoping that's enough for YouTube to be like, we're not drunk anymore. So that's the whole timestamp situation, in case you've noticed any of that. In any case, let's go ahead and dive into this, starting off with news. And starting off with news, we have a bunch of things, but we have Colossal Cat in the Box. Cat in the Box from Bezier Games. They are coming out with a colossal version of it, because, you know, small, travel-sized, portable games that are reasonably priced, reasonably sized, and don't take up more space than they need. That's not good enough. We need to have a large version of everything. Make no mistake, I tend to be a fan of the process, and I don't know if I'll get this. I don't know. Like, I love codenames. I adore codenames, and I have not bothered to get large codenames yet. Although every single time I see it at a convention, I'm like, maybe I should not, and I walk away saved. Once again, marked safe. Alex Radcliffe has been marked safe from large codenames at each convention. Colossal Cat in the Box looks cool. I mean, we do have this cat over here. That, I don't know what the deal that is. I also don't know how colossal it is. I know we don't need it at all, and the small travel size box is great. But in case you want a large one, coming from Bezier Games, we have Colossal Cat in a Box. We also have Colosseum over here. Colosseum, this is coming to you from Fantasia Games. They are doing a reprint of Colosseum, a reprint. So if you, you want to see Colosseum over here, they have, not if you want to see, if you wanted to get the Colosseum that was originally Days of Wonder, then TMG took it over. They are doing a reprint of the game with Wolfgang Kramer. I assume Johnny Pack's involved. He usually is on these things. But coming to you from Fantasia Games, so we're going to have Colosseum coming as a reprint at some point. I don't know if it's Kickstarter or GameFound. I assume Kickstarter. They've historically done Kickstarter so far, but we'll see. That's going to be Colosseum. We have over here, if this will refresh, we have Art Society coming to you from Mitch Wallace and coming from Mighty Boards Games. Art Society, which is like, they have like modern art and modern art the card game, and we have High Society, lots of different versions of this with Art Society over here, and this one looks interesting. Like, I don't know exactly how it works, but it looks like you're taking tiles and drafting them fashionably on your wall in some way, your wall being your board. Looks pretty. I like the art. Whether or not I like the game is a whole different conversation. We'll find out soon enough. We have over here, we have Undergrove, a press release from AEG. Undergrove is announcing the AEG announced Undergrove, a new game coming from Elizabeth Hargrave and Mark Whitten, which you're going to have to plant your mushrooms next to, you have to plant like mushrooms next to something. Didn't track exactly what goes next to what, but we have various stuff being planted next to various other stuff. Then we have over here Foundations Metropolis, coming from Arcane Wonders. Foundations Metropolis was announced, and this is one that is Foundations in Rome, but with different art, a different theme, so not in Rome, now it's in Metropolis over here, and it's going to be retail friendly. This is going to be I think it's going direct to retail, but this is going to be a, polyominoes, but with tiles instead of giant miniatures. For anyone who wanted to try Foundations of Rome, but didn't want to be spending $150, $200 to do so, this is your opportunity. I saw some of the pictures on TTS, they're doing the announcement they had. I saw some of the pictures on TTS of the components, and they are maintaining the trays that they have in Foundations of Rome, just doing it with small little tiles, effectively saying, hey, this worked so well, we want the retail version to have it too, even though it doesn't have the same level of need, it still has a level of benefit. So they're looking to maintain that. The art looks great. The player colors look fantastic. They have specific, unique player colors. I'm definitely interested in this. I cannot think of a reason why I could justify owning it if I have Foundations of Rome. But I mean, I'm interested in it. I'm curious. And they're doing it very basic. They're not doing a lot of the extras. So stuff that were in Foundations of Rome that are extra are not going to be present. So very dialed down. Looks kind of like a Horizons of Spirit Island to Spirit Island, which means I want to own it, but I can't possibly justify owning it. So, like, I don't know. I may end up doing coverage for it, but unless there's a reason to own this over Foundations of Rome, besides for the art that does look great, we'll see. Foundations of Metropolis over here. Then we have over here, we have announced, we have on Kickstarter, Vagrantsong Encore. This was actually announced a while ago, but it looks like we actually have a Kickstarter page to follow. Coming to you from Weird Miniatures, we have more Vagrantsong, as evidenced by the name Encore in the title. New haints, new scenarios, new skills, new junk cards, new stuff for Vagrantsong if you are a fan of that one. We additionally have over here, over on GameFound, we have Hoplomachus Pandora's Box. This is coming to you from Chip Theory Games. They announced, new stuff for Hoplomachus. There's going to be a few expansions over here. New expansions, We have Pandora's Box, we have Hoplomachus Victorum, we have the Pandora's Might over here, a bunch of content over here that's going to be added to your Hoplomachus experience in case you want to get your hands on that. Not a ton more information on the page because it's still early days in this one, but this was just announced over there. And then we have Spill Essen over here, Nucleum. This one I can't seem to zoom out more, but here we go. Nucleum from David Tursi and Simone Luciani coming to you from Board and Dice. This is going to be a collaboration that's going to be producing a Euro game. Definitely a Euro game. I'm confident of that. I don't know more about the gameplay, but coming at Essen, we have Nucleum from David Tursi and Simone Luciani. And then we have over here Quodd Heroes. This is actually a kind of double announcement, same basic idea. AEG is distributing Quodd Heroes and Trailblazers for the international markets, so both two fantastic games that I enjoy, both Quodd Heroes and Trailblazers. Very different games, very different, mental weight classes of where they are and what they do. But both fantastic games that AEG will be distributing internationally. And then we have Call to Creators, Help Us Build the Magic Maze game. This is coming to you from Sit Down Games. They are looking for some degree of collaboration in terms of how to build out the next Magic Maze game. I don't know exactly what it is they're looking for, whether scenario design or ideas, but in some way, shape, or form. I'll try to throw a link to that down below. To anything I can, I'll throw a link, but again, some of these things I just don't necessarily have links for. And then lastly, a bunch more announcements were actually over on Dice Tower. So over here, my audio is too loud, but over on Dice Tower we had a bunch more announcements. This is all falling apart over here, but either way we can go ahead and end this either way because that's the last announcement. But over on Dice Tower I'll definitely include a link to the Dice Tower announcement video. They did a whole bunch more announcements. I had a bunch of my usual news pieces, a few things from there that I highlighted, and then they have a bunch more announcements in there of various things that I did not cover. But from there we're going to dive into the topic of the week, and the topic of the week this week is cost per play. Something I've talked about in the past in various videos, but I talked about it specifically. The reason I'm talking about it this week is this past week I played a game twice, and then after I played it, I was like, you know what? After the second play, I was like, you know what? I don't know if I need to play this one again. I don't know if I need to play it more. Now, it happens to be I decided to keep it for right now to hold on to it and see where it goes. But it's a game I just paid like $30 for it on Amazon. And I was talking to my group. I was like, board games are expensive. Like, which obviously we know this. We know board games are expensive. But it was just an interesting. I was like, listen, I just paid $30 for this. We played it twice. I may get rid of it now. That's $15 per play. Granted, I'll probably sell or trade it or put it in the level up library. So there's still a degree of value being held there in some sense. But I was like, that's a expensive, just, a casual purchase that if you give a game 2 plays, it doesn't necessarily hold up. Now, there are games that get a lot of plays. Trailblazers, which we just mentioned 2 minutes ago. Trailblazers, I got my hands on, and then I proceeded to play that one, I don't know, like 15 times in the first week alone, and I've continued to play it since then. So the cost per play on that one is excellent. And every game, and cost per hour is a different factor as well, because sometimes you play a game for a long amount of time. Tenaris Adventures is a game that maybe I've played Tenaris Adventures 14 times altogether, but I've played it to the tune of probably around, I don't know, 30 plus hours, 40 hours, somewhere in that range. So there's a lot of cost per hour of enjoyment. I think there are games that definitely hold up in the cost per play or the cost per hour of enjoyment. But sometimes you buy a game, you play it once, you play it twice. It sits in your shelf of shame for a year and a half, or your shelf of opportunity, whichever camp you fall into. But you sit there for a long time, either played or unplayed, and the amount of just cost you have and the games around you that aren't seeing the table can be intense. And it's not necessarily a bad thing in and of itself. You have to obviously do your own determinations of your own finances, what you can afford to pay, how irresponsible you're being, how not irresponsible. Marvel United is a game I paid $900 for. To bring Marvel United down to a $15 cost per play, which is this other game that even sparked this conversation, all 3 seasons of Marvel United, somewhere in the range of $900, I don't know exactly, but the cost per play at $15 per play, that should be 60 plays, right? 60 plays under your belt to get to that $15 cost per play. Do I have 60 plays of Marvel United under my belt? I don't think so. I'd have to look up and check and then wonder how many I didn't log. But if I had to guess, I'd say I probably have in the range of 30 to 40 plays. So the cost per play of Marvel United is actually even higher. And some things are even worse than that. What is one of the worst cost per plays I have in my collection? This is an interesting conversation. Ark Nova is a $90 game. I've played it twice. That's $45 per play. Ooh, we just went on a weird tangent. Now I'm going to try to figure out what the worst cost per play. For me, I'm only going to count it if I actually have played it, and if not, if I just played it recently. If I just got it and I just played it recently, and I still need time to dive into it, that's one thing. What is one of the worst cost per plays? Marvel Zombies. Marvel Zombies is also pretty bad because no, but I'm not going to count Marvel Zombies because it hasn't arrived yet. In fact, even Marvel United, arguably speaking, I should only be counting the first $600, which may actually bring it to a more reasonable number to begin with. The Witcher All In. The Witcher All In is around, $350? But I've played that game 8 times, somewhere in the range of 8 times total, I think, by now, and it's actively getting played. So I'm not even count that against that. But even at 8 times per play, that's what, $40 per play, $50 per play, somewhere in that middle range, $45 per play. But again, it's still actively being played, and there's going to be a gameplay coming up on the channel this week, maybe, or this past week. I think there's a gameplay on the channel this past week, earlier this week, so we'll see in there. But so yeah, the cost per play there gets better, not goes up. What do I have here that is expensive, but I've played, but the cost per play is bad? Monumental. Monumental's not great. I'd have to look up how much I paid for Monumental. Maybe around $150, something like that. No, even then it's not that bad. I've probably played it 5 times. So that's not that bad. Because, again, the new content I'm not going to count yet because the new content hasn't arrived. Too Many Bones. I've played Too Many Bones a lot. Not necessarily enough. It's probably actually I've probably paid all in for Too Many Bones, including the trophy chest, including all the everything, probably in the range of $1,000. I think you could pay up to like as much as $1,500 for Too Many Bones, but I've probably played in the range of $1,000 for Too Many Bones. And again, I've probably played that game at least 20 times, which brings it down to $50 per play, which, by the way, is still a lot. I'm just trying to see if something more egregious. I'm trying to see if I can get to like $100 or $200 cost per play with something that's just obnoxiously over the top. Roads and Boats I haven't played yet, but I'm not counting things I haven't played, so that gives me a bit of a pass in some areas, but it's a reasonable pass, because like, I'm hopeful, I'm optimistic. I just haven't played it yet. What else is there? Massive Darkness, I mean, that was like, what, $400? Oh! Master of the Universe. This is my most egregious cost per play, for sure. Massive Darkness, I was about to say Massive Darkness. Massive Darkness all in is around $400, but I've played it around 9 or 10 times, so again, you're back down to that $40, $50 range per play. Still expensive, but still recent enough that there's time for it to continue to improve. It hasn't been sitting there stagnant. I haven't played it in like a month and a half. That's not bad at all. Master of the Universe is arguably my worst cost per play, because I haven't played it since it arrived. Which means I think, if I recall correctly, I played it either 3 or 4 times doing the prototype phase, and then spent $500 on it. Which means my cost per play is going to be around $125 per play for Master of the Universe. Now again, there's still hope, there's still time, there's still optimism, and all these good thoughts and feelings behind it. But that's going to be one of my most egregious cost per plays. RSS Vanguard, I mean, that I've played like 10 times already, so like, I mean, even though like half of it's in the prototype phase. Monster Hunter World might be, no, it depends how you count it. Again, same problem. It depends how you count both campaigns. If you're counting the cost per play, it's still pretty good. Not pretty good, but back down. I think a lot of my big box Kickstarters are actually around that $50 per play ratio. Now again, a big part of this is that factor of, okay, great, congratulations, that's the cost per play, but it also has a value to the next person it goes to. If I turn around and sell my Massive Darkness all in, I'll get back what I paid for it, and the cost per play shrinks to 0. So even Master of the Universe is still in a good, healthiest spot as long as it doesn't sit here gathering dust forever, hence the fact that it's still recent. So like, what is the most egregious older title at cost per plays? Something that's been sitting for a long time, that's probably not going anywhere, but is not worth it. I don't know. Nothing I'm too embarrassed of, although I probably should be. Nothing I'm too embarrassed of. I just think most of the things that I guess I'm worried about are things that to a certain extent will hold their value. Either, again, something like Monster Hunter World, if I got rid of that, it's not going into the level up library, it's going to be sold. And so at that point, if it's going to be sold, it's going to get a decent amount of its money back. And so I don't think the cost per play tanks too much. And that's part of why my channel always was about that aspect of the monetary, the resale value behind board games. Not because, one challenge I've always had to face earlier on, I face it less nowadays because I take less of a monetary focus nowadays than I used to. I still talk about it, it's still present, but it's less present in many of my videos. And not because I don't believe in it, just because I think the conversation, we shifted away from cost per play to a degree, but still, I think the conversation was easier when I wasn't getting a lot of review copies. I think the problem is perceptually over time, as I started getting more and more review copies, there was a perceptual shift of like, okay, well, you're a board game reviewer now, some of these games you're getting for free, and you're talking about the value of backing it. And so that kind of changes the nature of how some people will perceive the content. And I still back many things, or less than I used to nowadays, but I still buy. And so there's still a monetary focus on how I approach board gaming in general, in terms of the time value of money, the time value of the money value of money, the cost per play, the cost to resell. Those things are all very much present in the way I approach this hobby, but not from a stance of caring about money over the hobby. The argument I've always given is that anyone who ever sat there and is like, oh my gosh, I buy board games for board games, and you buy board games for holding their value. It's like, no, I buy board games for holding their value so that I can buy so many board games and not worry about the cost to me because I'm buying things that I can turn around and resell. Another reason I focus less on holding its value is the market has tanked on board games to a large degree. Not the worst, but I'd say more and more over time, whether something is worth it to get on Kickstarter or GameFound or wherever has gotten worse and worse over time. The market has become saturated, the deals have gone away, COVID have certainly hurt that even further. There are still times where it's worth it, there are still times where something will hold its value as a safe back. But less often. The amount of times over the past 2 years that I've had to sit there and say, more the last year, where on one of my 2 back and not to back videos, the amount of times I've had to sit there and say, I don't really have a strong value pick, so maybe this game, without any certainty behind it, because there isn't certainty behind it. That's been a problem that's gotten worse over time, not better. It's the nature of production and manufacturing and delays and refunds in the crowdfunding space. It has taken a toll on the price of things and how much people can offer when they effectively have to account for not just how much something costs, but what might happen over the next 2 years. Anyways, cost per play. That's what I was thinking about. I might try to do a video now. I might try to do an entirely separate video, not sponsored, I was going to say sponsored, inspired by this conversation. I might try to do a video of my 10 best, 2 different videos, my 10 best cost per plays and my 10 worst cost per plays. I think those should be fun videos, and I'm curious what yours are as well. My best cost per plays. What's a game I've killed? I mean, Casa Burgundy is up there. Lost Ruins of Arnak is up there. There are some games I have hit hard, like hard. What's my most played game? Let's see my most played game of all time. I think is My City. I think it's My City if I'm not mistaken. So let me go ahead and find this over here. My City. I believe next. Discard that. Go to all plays ever. No, go to insights. Oh, I'm gonna have to do all time. That's gonna be obnoxious. For all time, some of my highest plays. Although I'm just gonna say 2 of them because I don't want to spoil this video. This video that I now want to do. Some of my highest plays of all time from the. How many plays have I logged in all time? It takes a while to load at this point. But we have currently, load. We have 5,590 logged plays. My City is up there at 143 logged plays. And then another one that's very high. Oh, I think I found the winner here. I think I found the winner of our cost per play, probably. That's actually, no. It's going to be between 2. But I'll just say another one that's not relevant. Cthulhu Death May Die. 50 plays of that one. That's a good amount of plays of Cthulhu Death May Die. 48 actually, if I'm being precise. But again, I always assume I don't log every play. Just historically over time, I'll reach into my app and log my 4th play of a game, and it'll be like, "This is your first play of a game." I'm like, "No, it's not." But I don't log everything. I log as much as I can possibly remember. And I think that's enough time on the topic of the week. Let's go ahead and talk about the games I played this week. The week in review, starting off with the games I played. A few games I'm going to talk about this week. First of all, a Double Connect. Double Connect is effectively Spot It with more to the game experience. If you haven't played Spot It, Spot's a game where you have 2 cards, you have to find the matching symbol on the cards. But with Double Connect, once you find the matching symbol, you're effectively playing almost this Connect 4 in an open grid. The cards are hex-shaped, so that you're creating a hex and you want a line of 4. But then once you score that, you have to take the person who scores has to put some of their cards in other people's decks, or vice versa. Other people put their cards in your deck, so you have a harder time, because now you might actually be helping your opponent. And so as you get more points, there's a catch-up mechanic in play to make it a little more confusing, and it's effectively Spot It combined with Connect 4 in a way that makes Spot It, I think, just more enjoyable. It's not amazing, it's not incredible, but it's a light, fun filler for when you want the craziness of Spot It, but with more gravity behind the experience. I enjoy Double Connect. I don't know if I'll actually ever pick it up, we'll see, but I enjoyed my play of it. Then we have Millefiori. Millefiori, specifically Millefiori versus Caesar. These are 2 different games that I happen to play the same day, Millefiori and Caesar, and they both feel very similar. They're both games that, to me, I almost have no right to enjoy them as much as I do. They are fun, they are simple, they are very easy breezy, very light and easygoing, and I like them both a lot. They're almost guilty pleasure games. They're games that I play them and I'm like, maybe I should get rid of it, but I liked it and I kind of want to play it again, but it wasn't that heavy, but maybe I should keep it. And there are games like this. In fact, speaking of being inspired to do top 10 videos, it made me think that I want to do a video of top 10 games I have no right to enjoy as much as I do. I might work on the title. That is long, but I actually like the title. Top 10 games I have no right to enjoy as much as I do. And obviously, you have the right to enjoy any game as much as you want, but it's more that it feels like I enjoy them more than I would a game of that weight class. And there's lots of games like that. In fact, there's going to be 8 more in this video when I eventually put together that list. So both Millefiori, they both have large similarities. In fact, I was filming a review for Caesar, and I put in my recommendations Millefiori, and I saw on Board Game Geek that's like the #1 games other people liked. And there are interesting similarities behind them, especially the nature of certain segments of Millefiori has that aspect of you want to get somewhere first so you can earn all the bonuses of people who go there after. So they have that degree of similarity. And the last game I'm going to talk about is Fire Siege. Fire Siege is a game that's going to be coming up on this channel. Meg's going to be doing a preview of the game, but I had a chance to play it. In general, when Meg or Devin do previews on the channel, sometimes I play those games with them, sometimes I didn't. It depends on the game, depends on the experience. In the case of Fire Siege, that's when I had a chance to play as well, and I was very intrigued by it. This is not a review. I'm not going to be reviewing games I do on the channel, but I will briefly talk about it. If I still had a degree of extra interest in it, I will talk about it. But Fire Siege is one that, so again, paid content, take that into account, but it is one that has a degree of looking at the different directions of cards. You're going to be drawing cards into your hand, or tiles, cards, whatever, and they have 2 sides, one good, one bad, but you only see one side and your teammates see the other. And so when you resolve a card, you're going to do both sides. But maybe I'm resolving a card that I see the bad, and my teammates know how good it is, but they can't tell me exactly what. They can just kind of be like, that's a good card to play right now. Or it's not a good card to play right now, but they can't say what, and they don't know what's on the other side. Or vice versa. Maybe I see the good stuff that will happen this turn, but they see the bad stuff that will happen, and they're like, oh, I don't play that card, it's not going to be good for us right now. And you're trying to balance kind of a tower defense puzzle with that degree of hidden communication. There is a solo mode as well, but obviously it takes away from that experience. But I found it very intriguing. I think the core gameplay is good, but not amazing, but then it has that additional twist on it that actually was... I want to play it more. I want to play it more to ultimately determine an opinion on it. Just to have one play under my belt, so don't take it too strongly. But I definitely enjoyed it based on the one play. And that's going to be a brief recap of some of the games I've played this past week. Past that, as far as the week in review. The week in review, starting off with this past Saturday. Saturday, we had a 12x12 review of Innovation. Innovation is a game I give a 4 out of 5. I really like Innovation. I like it a lot in terms of different aspects, but it also is not my perfect game. It's just a game that I've had Innovation for a very long time now. I don't know how many times I've actually played it, but I've probably played it in the range of 30 to 40 times by now. 12x12 reviews are not it's not 12 plays only, it's a minimum of 12 plays, and the reason it's 12x12 is because I'm going to set a challenge every year to do at least 12x12 reviews. That means I play the game at least 12 times, and ideally in every possible variation. So for example, even though I've played Innovation probably 30-40 times, one expansion, which one? Figures in the Sand, I think I've only played that expansion twice. So like, just to give an example, like I've touched different aspects of the game, I've played all the expansions together, I've done all the various versions of it, but I still want to see more, I still want to try them out in different degrees. But Innovation currently has a campaign over on back here with a 5th expansion, so another expansion to add, as well as level 11 cards. But overall, really enjoy Innovation, feel free to check out that review. Later on Saturday, I gave a review to Race to the Raft. Speaking of games I don't have a right to enjoy as much as I do, Race to the Raft might arguably be in that. I think Race to the Raft is a little lighter than I ideally want, but it's just, there's enough going on that I'm still intrigued by the game, but also it's a little lighter than I would ideally want for the game. And I don't know why I find it so compelling, but I think that I'm both disappointed in what I wanted Race to the Raft to be, while also enjoying it enough that I plan on playing it a lot. I plan on going through the various challenges, the levels, trying to min-max your way towards the end, towards that victory. It is a tight game, and it is, especially if you're not using the water tokens, which I don't like using the water tokens. I don't. I just find it's like, it feels like, okay, I kind of half won the game. I want to win or lose, call it a day. I don't need these halfway water token situations. But I like Race to the Raft. It's charming, it's interesting. I give that another 4 to 5. I thought it would be higher for me, honestly, but a 4 to 5 is still very solid, and I very much enjoy that one. Then on Sunday I had a vlog for the Level Up Retreat, just going over a bit of a recap, you know, the games I played, people I saw, things I did, talking about a little background stuff behind the event. We also just put out a poll on the event for anyone who went to it. We do plan on doing more Level Up Retreats or Level Up Conventions or all those things over time. We'll see how that plays out. And then later on Sunday, I did an unboxing for Epic 7 Arise. This is just a general unboxing of Epic 7, a game that came, and then I hope to play at some point. Then on Monday we had upcoming crowdfunding campaigns for August. There's no two back or not to back this week. There's no two back or not to back next week. Gencon has everyone's attention, and crowdfunding is mostly dead. There's a few campaigns to talk about. There's Vampire the Masquerade over on GameFound. There's Wizards & Co. over on Kickstarter. There's a handful of campaigns that are an Innovation over on BackKit. I think those are really the 3 campaigns. Wizards & Co., Innovation, and and Vampire the Masquerade. But I plan on talking about all of those, but I can talk about all those in future weeks. So Vampire the Masquerade and Innovation in particular are going to be up for a bit, so I will talk about those not even next week, but the week after. Next week, we're not going to have a 2-back and not to back because both there's not enough campaigns currently, and also because I'll be at Gencon and I won't be able to film anything, so instead we're going to have a 25 campaigns to late back video. This is something I do from time to time when I don't have a 2-back and not to back. I just go over some late pledges and let you know about those. That is going to be Monday. Monday was upcoming crowdfunding campaigns. Although I will say there are a bunch of upcoming campaigns for August that I am interested in. There's Call of Duty, there's Worms, there's a bunch of campaigns that will be coming up, and we'll see more about those as time goes on. We have Tuesday. Tuesday I did a review. I did a few things Tuesday. I don't remember the exact order. I did a review for Last Light. This is me re-reviewing the game as well as the production. Overall, I still very much enjoy Last Light. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. I think it's fantastic at what it does, and I'm eager to dive back into it for more. There'll be a film gameplay on the channel, or there was a film gameplay on the channel as well. You can check that out. Then later on Tuesday, I did a review for Aethermon. Aethermon's an active campaign over on GameFound. I guess that's another campaign I could talk about. I do find Aethermon fairly charming. You can check that one out. There's both a cooperative mode as well as a competitive mode, and I enjoy it. It's light, it's simple, but I do enjoy it very much. And then we also had a gameplay for The Witcher on Tuesday. The Witcher Old World, it was a 2-player gameplay, came in at 90 minutes, which is really not bad. One of the complaints The Witcher gets is that it can run a little long, but a 2-player game at 90 minutes while engaging and talking and really talking through the turns. Like, one of the things that happens in The Witcher is usually when you start building your deck, the other person should start going. But in the interest of keeping the gameplay so that you can actually watch the whole thing without trying to focus on two things, we did it fully sequentially. I take my full turn, you take your full turn, no overlapping. And it's still a 90-minute game, which really shows The Witcher, even though it can run long, can also be pretty tight if you know how to play, if you know what's going on. Then on Wednesday we had a Lost Ruins of Arnak gameplay, specifically Lost Ruins of Arnak: The Missing Expedition, a gameplay of this that I'll be diving more into this one. I plan on doing a full series of 6 gameplays around the campaign mode of Lost Ruins of Arnak. I'll be dropping them one at a time over time, so it won't be anything too quickly. In general, I'm doing more gameplays on the channel. I'm just diving into them more. I'm enjoying gameplays. I'm enjoying the opportunity and the excuse to play them more, but we'll have a full series of Lost Ruins of Arnak gameplay, but the first one went up this past Wednesday. Then we had a review for Inside Job from Cosmos. I gave that a 3.5 out of 5. I like it. It's fun. I don't feel the need to own it. It's a trick-taking game with a hidden trader mechanism. I've played that before with Shamans. I like it more with Inside Job, but both of them I still would rather play a good trick-taking game and a good hidden roll game. The combination of the two is good, but I think the sum of its parts is not better than the thing. 2 plus 2 equals 3. 2 plus 2 does not equal 4, or even 5 for that matter. And anyways, that is that. Then last night Wednesday, we had a Last Light gameplay. I think so. The Last Light gameplay probably went up on Wednesday. So that's what we had Wednesday. This would be a 3-player gameplay of Last Light, coming in at almost exactly an hour. You can check that one out, and it's full of fun twists and turns. I highly recommend watching it if you want a good sense of some of the things that can happen in Last Light that make it a charming game that I definitely recommend. Then we had Thursday. Thursday we had hopefully if things went well, we had a Gencon Hall vlog tour. Not vlog, a Gencon Hall tour. This is something I try to do with most conventions. Most, things like PAX Unplugged, Origins, Gencon, stuff like that. Hopefully I did a Gencon Hall tour the first day, just showing you the various booths. It's going to be crazy. I don't know what my day is going to look like. I'm going to try to have video content for you the first day of Gencon, but I make no guarantees. So hopefully it happened Thursday, and if not, I threw in another video. No idea what. I have plenty. Maybe games leaving my collection for July. That could go up there as well. We'll find out. But that was Thursday, hopefully. And then Friday I had a video about the perfect formula. The perfect formula for you to play as many new games as you possibly could want to. Or as many games as you possibly could want to. Sort of. It's a formula. It's a formula to plug and play and work around with. It's just a funny little whimsical video about the nature of math and just statistics and just formulas and really just me being a complete board game geek to the nth degree. But I think it's a funny video. I enjoyed it, but that's going to be Friday's video. And then today we're going to have a few things going up. We are going to have a review for Ancient Realms, River Wild, and Wild Tales, a three-part Button Shy review of 3 Button Shy new games. We have an Expeditions gameplay. See previous comments, but more gameplays on the channel. We have a gameplay of Expeditions going up as well. It's another 3-player gameplay that came in at roughly an hour, maybe an hour. I can't remember exactly how long that was, but I think it was roughly an hour, maybe 90 minutes for a 3-player gameplay of Expeditions. And then we have, next week we have going up, next week we should have games leaving the collection for July, unless of course that goes up Thursday. We should have our case unboxing should be going up, as well as of course 25 games to late pledge as well, all going up next week. And then of course the usual other 17 videos. And that's basically it. As far as the games on the table, these are mostly all travel size stuff. We have Lost Ruins of Arnak, which, like I said already, I hope to be diving into more to be able to get, 6 full sessions of the campaign, as well as a full review and not first impressions, a full review on the game when we go through that. Then I'll be traveling because of Gencon. I'll be traveling, so I have a bunch of smaller box games. I have Splendor Duel as well as Ancient Realms. I'm loving Ancient Realms from Button Shy. One of my new favorite Button Shy games. Really compelling solo experience. Splendor Duel, a solid travel game. We have a handheld game. This is a series of micro games. We have Hand of Destiny, and then we have The Last Stronghold and Forgotten Road. All of these from Barrett Publishing, I believe. Where is it from? From Barrett Publishing. From Gabe Barrett and Barrett Publishing. Have not played or even opened any of these, but I hope to dive into these. These are small travel-sized games, so I hope to get at least one of these played. We'll see what happens. Gencon is Gencon. Just because I bring games with me does not mean I play those games. In any case, until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I hope you have a good one.